Are you really happy with your current job position, or do you really know what you're going to do after retirement? Our next guest speaker helps women redesign their life or redesign their after work process. Let's see what she has.
Building spirituality, family, health, and business. This is The Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.
Welcome, Giant Builders. I am so glad that you are here. I hope you are having an amazing day. Today's guest speaker is Amie Sponza. Hey, Amy, how are you?
I'm great, Lois. Glad to be here.
Thank you. We're happy to have you. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Certainly. As you can see from my background, I am a coach who my favorite thing is guiding women who are at some kind of life crossroads. They are heading toward retirement or they're not ready for retirement. They know there's something more for them. They're just not sure what it is, or they are unhappy and unfulfilled in the job that they're currently in, and they would like to discover what their true calling is. So I like to say your second act sparkle awaits, because that's where I was before I started coaching. I was in a place where I was working for the family business, and I was clearly unhappy because my brother pointed it out to me. He's like, you need to go find what's going to make you happy because this isn't it. And sweet of him to say, go take the time you need to do that. And so here I am. And I also have a nonprofit theater company that I co-founded back in 1983, aging me a little. I was just a kid. And we are still over 40 years later doing theater. Our main thing is Shakespeare in the Park in the summer. We go to 5 different locations in Suffolk County on Long Island. And this year we're doing Othello.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Can I say that I think there's a bigger percentage of women who are unhappy or unsure of what
Mm.
they're going to do in retirement than admit it?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I think about myself, we had a family-owned business and I really strived in it, but and I worked really hard in it, but there were times when I just wasn't happy in it.
Yeah. It's like you're doing it out of obligation more than passion, right?
Right.
It was wonderful that I had the security of a job while I was raising my 2 children with my husband, and knowing that, steady income, insurance, and all that was there. And, what I was doing was not difficult. It wasn't painful. I had a variety of jobs that kept it interesting. I moved, wherever. I was kind of like a gap filler. We needed someone at the front desk, so I did that. And then I moved to service writing because there was a plethora of work to do and not enough time to do it. So I took on that and moved into the bookkeeping office for 5 years, which was like totally against the grain for me as an actor. But I learned, which is good, probably getting me ready for being an entrepreneur, which is was helpful. Service management, assistant general manager, sales, um, coordinator. Our family owns a marina, so we sell boats and service them and store them and dockage and all that. So it was interesting and good until it wasn't. And then I left, and then I got pulled back in and finally got to the point where that was enough.
So tell us, what are your 4Ds?
So when I'm working with my clients, I like to share what I call the 4 Ds to thrive at life's crossroads. So the first one is design. You want to design your dream, your goals, your life, um, because we are either living by design or we're living by default, doing the same thing every day in a pattern, in a loop, just because it's habit. That's living life by default, right? But when you know where you want to go, what you want to do, and you plan for it, you design it, you're more likely to get there, right? When you want to be successful, the most successful people live their life by design. And that means you spend the time to think about, dream about what you would love. That is probably one of the most important questions you can ask yourself. And most of us don't do it, right? What would you love? If there were no barrier, no education, gender, money, no barriers to what you could have, be, do, create, what would you love that to look like? And I advise people to jump forward 3 years into the future. Like you got into the DeLorean and you like 3 years from now, everything worked out. What would you be doing? Who would you be with? Um, Use all 5 senses. What are you smelling, seeing, tasting, hearing? What does it feel like to have, be, do all the things that you would love? And really go there
Mm.
in your mind first, and then write it down and speak it and keep it like where you could read it every day. Because when you do that, it reinforces in your brain and it also kind of sends that message out to the universe. This is what I would love. And I did that when I was going through this 12-week program that I discovered after my brother said, go find it. I wrote in my journal, I would love to be invited to be in a short film, shooting in my local area, working with like-minded creative people and being part of the creative process. And then I went and took my dog for a walk. And while I was on my walk, I got a phone call. I was talking to another dog walker, so I didn't take it. Then I thought, oh yeah, I better call him back. I could have forgotten about it, but I didn't. I called him and he said, hey, Amy, I've written a short film. I'm here with the director today. We'd love for you to be in it. Can you meet with us today? Talk about manifesting. Wow. Like the frequency that I was on, all the ducks were in a row on this other plane that you like when you're tuning in your radio and you want to hear an FM, rock and roll station, but you have it tuned to 8810 on AM. You're not going to hear it. So it's tuning in to what you would love and raising your vibration to that frequency so that you can receive the things that you would love. So that's the first one, the D, design. And then the next D is decide. You want to make a decision for what you would love, even not knowing how. How is not your business. It's the what and the why. Knowing that helps you to move forward and take an action step, right? Make a decision, I'm going for it, and then take a baby step in the direction that you want to go. Because when we do that, there's a cause and effect, right? Thoughts become things. When we have a thought, it creates a feeling. And then the feeling causes us to take an action. And that action has a result. It's cause and effect. So if you want to know what you've been thinking about, look at your results because results never lie, right? So that's the second D, decide. And what's going to happen when you take a big leap like that is fear is going to come in. And that's true forever and ever, right? Fear is going to be on the journey with you no matter what. So I like to say, dance with your fear. It's fun, right? It turns it around from being this scary thing to, all right, I don't know this dance step. I don't know what's next for me, but I am going to get out on the dance floor and try it. I'm going to try this new step. And you take fear by the hand and say, come on, I'll be the leader. And you don't let fear take the lead. And try, fail fast, because better you tried it and this isn't working. Like Edison said he never had a failure. He just found 10,000 ways that electricity didn't work, right? So keep trying different things until you get what works for you. So design, decide, and dance with your fear, and then do it. Take the action steps, do what needs to be done, and have fun with it, you know? Um, that is those are quick and dirty, the the 4 Ds. And you want to notice what you're noticing along the way. Um, Notice how what you're thinking about causes you to feel a certain way. When you're thinking about what you would love, you feel happy, right? It gets that sparkle in your eye. But when you're thinking about how, and then you start to think, I'll never be able to do that, that lowers your, that makes you feel frustrated and sad and maybe even want to cry. I'll never have that, you know? But like I said, it's the how is not your business. It's knowing what you would love and being brave enough to take any small action in the direction of your dream. I could have neglected to call my friend back. And as a result of saying yes, I met with him and I said yes to the role he offered. I got to help with the creative process by finding actors for him to use in his film, because I know a lot of local actors. And I got to be part of the creative process also by providing locations at my house and my mother's house. And that film went on to win some awards at film festivals.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. And this happened like during COVID when things were quiet. So it was like an amazing thing to be able to do that. And I didn't have to travel. It was right here in my area. So, when you don't know where you're going, any path will get you there. But when you make a decision, it's amazing how many serendipitous things will fall into place. Have you ever had that experience yourself, Lois?
Yeah, sometimes you have to like go through the experience and look back to see how things really lined up well for you.
Yeah. Yes, right. If you look back at your life and you look at the things that did work out, and that's a good reminder for knowing that we are stronger than any circumstance or condition, that we get through things that seemed hard at the time. And maybe they're things that we wouldn't wish on our worst enemy, but we wouldn't trade what it transformed us into,
Mhm.
right? Wouldn't be who we are today without the experiences we've gone through in our life.
So what does the first meeting look like with you then? How do you start this process?
So the first thing we do is this what I call time the time travel thing where you're jumping forward 3 years and you're imagining uh, well, first of all, doing a life assessment. Where are you now in your four quadrants of your life? Your health and well-being, your love and relationships, your vocation or how you share your gifts in the world, and then your time and money freedom. Where are you now? What is the current circumstance in your life right now? And then if everything worked out, what would you love? And you do that 3 years from now, it's all worked out. What does that look like? And you get the comparison, right? You get to see where you are versus where you want to go. And then there's that cursed how in the middle. And what do? We press the pause button and we take some deep breaths because when you're in that fight, flight, or freeze mode of fear, you want to calm the nervous system by taking slow, deep breaths in and blowing out slowly through the mouth like you're blowing through a straw. This signals your parasympathetic nervous system that the tiger isn't going to eat you. You're okay. You're safe. And that allows you to go into rest, digest, and create mode. That's when you can really imagine because everything is created twice, first in our thoughts and then in form, right? This computer we're using in this Zoom situation that we're on was created by someone in their imagination before it became a thing, right? So we go through that and we get very clear on where it is you would love to go and focus in on one area of your life that you most want to improve. Do on a scale of 1 to 10, which one feels like it needs the most attention?
Mm.
So that's where I start doing an assessment and then doing the process, designing. And, the quality of our life is determined by the questions we ask. So that most important question is, what would you love?
Are there common frustrations or desires between women?
Well, I think a lot of us, especially those who are moms, your whole life is caring for other people, right? We put ourselves last, right? It's always the partner or the children, or then it becomes the parents. I'm currently helping my mom, and my children are out and grown, but my daughter's about to have a baby, and I want to be there for, there's just something. I'm a nurturer. Maybe that's what makes me a good coach. But that uh, not making enough time for ourselves to even stop and say, what would I love? Some people that I've worked with have said, it never even occurred to me to ask that question. And giving yourself, 30 minutes, 45 minutes on the phone with me to say, this time is for you. Let's go deep. Let's figure it out and make a plan. And, one of my clients wanted to, she's a writer. She wanted to publish her book. And she wanted, in the meantime, to have a job in New York as an executive assistant with the flexibility to be able to write in the mornings before she went to work. She wanted a hybrid, sometimes in the office, sometimes at home. She mapped out exactly the job that she would love, what her life would look like. And within, I'm going to say 8 weeks of working together, she landed the job, the exact salary and situation that she wanted. It was like she was dumbfounded at how this works.
That is
And
very
yeah, and now she has self-published her book. It's out on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and she actually won an award for her book. Yeah. So that lights me up.
wow.
That makes me sparkle seeing her sparkle. Yeah. And another client had she she was had been stuck in the restaurant business and wanted out. She was a single mom of a 14-year-old and knew there was something more for her. And now she's enrolled in she's starting with medical assistant but wants to become a nurse. She enrolled and she got a grant to pay for it.
That,
So,
that's a blessing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's this stuff works when you work it. It's not something that um, it's never one and done, because when we reach a goal, we don't sit on our laurels and say, okay, I'm done. There's always something more, right? What do I want to do next? Well, that felt really good, and you maybe sit there and enjoy it for a little while. But then it's on to the next thing. So this is a repeatable system, proven, reliable, and repeatable, that you can use over and over again for different areas of your life. And that's one of the things I love about it. And I sprinkle in some of my theater training in there because, you can improvise and like put on the costume of the role you would like to have. You can, I use the director's chair in my logo because you can direct your life. You can create the script, design the costumes and the set, and who are the supporting characters in your life. Rewrite the script if you don't like where you are. You are in control. And we are stronger than any circumstance or condition that we are faced with.
I like that comparison. I really like that.
Yeah.
Well, any closing thoughts?
Um, I would just say to remember that when you were a baby, you did not start out as a walker. You fell down a few times and you had some encouragement along the way. So remember that if you want it, if you want something, if you desire to create or do or be something, you have to keep trying, fall down a few times, but get up and keep going. And find yourself some partners in believing who will support you along the way, whether it's a coach or a friend or a mentor. Find someone who will be there for you to believe in you when it's hard to believe in yourself. And if anyone is interested, I can share my calendar in your show notes, and let's have a chat.
Yeah, so I will have all of her links below. So do please reach out to Amie and see what your future really could look like.
Yeah,
Mhm.
thanks.
Well, thank you, Amie. I really appreciate your insight and just I especially love that comparison of the director's chair. That was really cool.
Thanks. Yeah, it makes it fun, right?
Mhm.
If you're writing your own script and making the movie of your life, right?
Yeah, that was great. All right, giant builders. See you next week.
Thank you for listening. This has been The Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.